Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It was a farmhouse outside of Snohomish, Washington, 35 miles from Seattle, where friends and family would gather each week for legendary Sunday dinners of fried chicken, baked beans, and cinnamon rolls. Geraldine Brousseau recounts these occasions at her grandmother's house vividly. She remembers the love her grandmother poured into those cinnamon rolls and the eager delight in the eyes of all the guests who were soon to eat them. When she opened a cafe bakery herself, French style, she was known for these cinnamon rolls. She took her grandmother's recipe. People came from far and wide to buy them. The New York Times wrote about them. Oh my goodness. And in 1985, the phone rang. It was a restaurant tycoon who owned steakhouses, grills, and fish houses, and said, "How would you like to make the best cinnamon rolls in the world?" And she said, "Yep, I would." So Geraldine continues this story in David Kessler's book, The End of Overeating, Taking Control of the Insatiable American Appetite. You may see where this is going. She said that there was painstaking product development that happened before they launched. She writes, "We started from the outside in. We wanted it to look this certain way. We wanted it to be voluptuous and full and round and have many, many, many wraps. We wanted it to be aromatic in a certain way, pungent and so appealing that people could not resist it." She continues, "We wanted a dough that had the quality like a pillow, a dough that would be soft. And then the syrup, the cinnamon caramel center, would also be soft and syrupy so that there would be this contrast of textures." They also envisioned a creamy topping. They wanted this creaminess to be so creamy that it could be actually spooned over the top of the cinnamon roll. That would just add the final to this indulgent food. Well, enough already. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Cinnabons. They are now in at least 600 bakeries in this country, shopping malls, airports, and other easy-to-find places. You just have to follow your nose as you go. Now, Geraldine and her team worked really hard, as do all makers of prepared and especially the so-called indulgent foods. They worked really hard to make the taste experience so perfect that it leaves all of us wanting more. The wanting more is scientifically, or perhaps even some might say cynically, determined by the combination of that trifecta of human stimulants: fat, sugar, salt. You never know when Daddy's going to bag the next caribou, so we should eat it all right now. And sugar, the rush of energy needed by our cave ancestors to provide energy to hunt and gather, gives that good feeling. And then salt, our bodies are like 70–80% salt, aren't they? Something like that. So we got to have it. David Kessler in his book writes that all three of these set off brain chemicals like mind-altering drugs. Fat, sugar, and salt are addictive, he argues. No surprise then for any of us who stepped off a plane and just smelled the cinnamon roll in the distance. You can find it through concourse A, B, C, D. Now, junk food and snack food and convenience food is created with a calculated balance of these three, fat, sugar, and salt. It is designed to take a minimum of chewing and to go down smooth. These are foods that are designed from the ground up to make us all want more, and we want it now. This is food engineered to grab you and me and entice us and fill us and leave us wanting more now. What a lively contrast then with St. John's discourses over the past weeks about Jesus as the bread of life. It's positively serene by comparison. The bread which comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. Whoever eats this bread will live forever. Why? Why is this? Simple bread, simple wine. That for which we hunger, and that for which we thirst, and that for which we long. Says the church is not found here among us. Not money, not sex, not power, not Cinnabon under any other name. No, the Christian revelation says that for which we long and that for which we hunger and thirst has already sought us out. This is the Cinnabon that's come to us, the loaf of bread that sought us out and said, "You must eat me." The Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we have beheld His glory, full of grace and truth. And for St. John's community, the weekly repetitive act of gathering, proclaiming, responding to Scripture, praying, taking bread, breaking it, and sharing it is the matrix of any wisdom that any Christian would need. You just don't need anything else, says St. John, if you want to live a spiritual life and walk the spiritual path. The wisdom of God as revealed in Jesus is that the sharing of our lives in love with one another is a redemptive experience for us and a transformative one for the world. I wish this weren't true. I've been nourished by other people who've been broken and shared that gift with me. I just don't like being broken. I don't like it myself, but I've received it gratefully from others. No engineered food, no Cinnabon can ever do this for us. Cinnabons ultimately take us to a dead end. But the church has said, eat the bread which comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. Eat it, be it, share it, now.